Hope Crystal from Melbourne, Florida. I come from, my background is mortgage banking. I started doing mortgages back in 2003 and became the top producer in Brevard County during the peak. And, basically the day the phones quit ringing and the banks stopped funding loans, I knew we had an issue. I struggled during 2007, which was when the market crashed towards the end of. During 2008, I maintained the same level of production. I closed 30 to 35 million per year. And what I realized was I was having to swim upstream, 3 times as hard and for about a third of the pay. So after maintaining my same level of production, but doubling the amount of units I was closing per month from 12 to 25, just to maintain the same income level, I decided that, I needed to find a different avenue. 60% of my past clients started calling me, telling me we're in default, and I would go to my bank executives and they were not willing to help my clients at all. And, truth be told, one of my clients committed suicide. And with his mortgage statement and his credit card statements laid out on his bed. And I thought to myself, there has to be a way to help these people. They are not responsible for the market crashing. They took just as much risk as the bank did, and it's just very unfair for them to be stuck holding the bag when the bank's already made their money by selling them the loan on the secondary market. So I started negotiating short sales. I've been doing that now for 1.5 years and have become, very successful. I have a partner who's the, #1 negotiator in the state of Florida, top 10 in the country, and she travels and we coach agents and teach them, as well as help push their files along in the short sale negotiation. My reason for coming to Joe's events mainly is because now that I've negotiated a short sale for a client and gotten them out of a toxic asset, now it's time, what do I do with them? Well, the rental market has become so inflated that it's very difficult for my clients that have just gotten out of a home to find a rental property that they can afford. It's similar to the mortgage situation. So I thought, and to truth be told, every single one of them, will be in a position to buy. These are people with, good credit, other than, what recently happened with the short sale or foreclosure or bankruptcy. And they have good jobs and they have income and they want to move forward and they want to maintain the dream of home ownership. And so I have another business partner, and he, knew Joe for about the last 10 years and said, I have just the guy, let's not reinvent the wheel. I went to him saying, hey, do you want to be the bank? Do you want to lend money to these people and help them own a home? And then in 2 years, they would refinance the property. He said, nope, I'm calling my guy. I've got his name. We're going to go meet him. So that's what we did. We came to Joe's event to learn about how to match buyers and sellers and how to find the best option for people that are going to be in a position to own their home again and want to maintain that dream and that vision. I'm currently using Joe's technique, mainly the for rent lease option for my short sale clients who need 2 years to rebuild their credit. I have buyers and sellers who contact me on a daily basis asking if I have inventory, and I didn't know what to do with these calls. And so now that I've found, Joe Crump, and his method is very straightforward, easy to use, I've been able to match those buyers and those sellers and put them together in a form that, works for all parties. Recently, today, we made phone calls to buyers, or actually sellers, for sale by owners and for rent people listed on Craigslist. And, Joe said to expect the average, I think 1 out of 3 you'll get. Well, my turnaround is more like 4 out of 5. And I don't know if my approach is a little bit different or if it happens to be but I can relate to these people in a way, having come from a mortgage banking background and, real estate, and having been an investor myself, that, really using his method as far as finding out what the goal and the object of the seller made me able to put the deal together and find what best worked for that seller, whether it be, selling the house outright to an investor for cash, or, doing a lease purchase, because they really know that in the end, they're going to still be able to maintain control of that property, and they may want to keep it as a long-term investment, but don't want the headaches of being a landlord. So everything that Joe has told me today, I implemented in our phone call time and was very successful. Well, the deals that I tried to put together on my own before Joe, they never seemed to happen. I had, the buyers and I had the sellers, but I couldn't quite make the match because I really didn't know what I was doing. I knew, okay, I understand banking. I understand that I want to be the bank. I have investors that want to, lend money. I don't really know how to connect the two together. Joe's method is simple, straightforward, and easy, and if you just follow it, it works. I mean, that's really all I can tell you. Oh, I would say the first deal that I put together using Joe's techniques were before I even finished Joe's training, and it was about 5 minutes. I got on the phone, asked the person if they would be willing, and they not only said sure, they gave me one property, they gave me their other 4 as well. So I don't know if that was a fluke, but yeah, about 5 minutes. I actually really only had 5 minutes. I just decided, you know what? Okay, I watched one conference and said, I'm just going to get on the phones and try to do this myself. And yeah, about 5 minutes. And then I thought, oh, what do I do? So then I had to go back to the training and say, okay, now I'm supposed to fax him this. Okay, so we fax him that, and he signs it and he sends it back, and we market the property. So probably total, I would say 2 hours. The amount of money that I made on that deal is $2,500. I first found out about Joe's program through one of my business partners, and also who is an investor and wanted to lend money to distressed homeowners that wanted to purchase. And he's known Joe for his name's Tim Irway. He's known Joe for about 10 years, and said, I know just the guy who has the system already in place. Let's go take a look at it and see if we can make this happen. And we did. I'd say the best deal that I've done so far is the call that I made to a seller who has actual equity in the property, which, in this market is surprising, and wants a certain amount of cash out of the deal. And we were able to structure using Joe's hierarchy of programs available, we were able to find the best match for that seller, structure it to where they could get their cash out, move on, and not have to worry about the property, and we could fill it with a new buyer. Automating my business really lies in the hands of my business partner, Tim Irway. I know nothing about the internet or technology other than I can use my scanner, fax, and so both my partner and I wanted to utilize each other's strengths. My strengths are being on the phone, being in front of people, selling and closing deals. His are closing deals as well, but he really prefers the internet marketing portion of the business. So together we really make a good team. The amount of money that we've set for our business, I would say just even coming to Joe's event this weekend will generate about $60,000 in revenue for me and for my partner over the next 3 months. Now, my goal as a real estate investor is really not purely monetary. That I leave that to my business partner. Mine is more the satisfaction of putting the right people together and maintaining the dream of homeownership and solving a national tragedy at the same time. Banks are not willing to lend. Traditional financing is out the window. We have to come up with creative ways so that people can still buy, so that credit can still exist, just on a different level. And that comes in with Joe's program through underwriting the asset instead of the person, through no credit checks. People they don't know what to do. They bury their head in the sand because they're so embarrassed of their situation. We get the 2-ton monster out from under their bed by helping them liquidate a toxic asset. And then we give them the dream back again by saying, hey, we have sellers, we have investors, we have houses for you to buy. And that pleasure is, for me, enough to make me want to get out of bed every morning and continue on. My next plan is I've now hired a agent to help me co-list my properties, and as I'm still negotiating short sales, I hired a processor to, my main thing is I needed to free up some time and put, the best use of my time at this point in time is on the phones, is building my list, is getting, those things in place. So over the next, I would say 3 months, I plan to build our list through the automation system and through the sign placement. And once that starts coming in, then it'll take over and take on a life of its own. The advice I would give someone who is interested in becoming a real estate investor, but may have concerns over credit, over their own financial situation, over anything really, anything, any holdups, is you never know until you try. And I can tell you from experience that this man's been in the business for 20 years, and when I watched his first interview, I, having only been in the business since 2003, was like, wow, this has happened before. This actually happened 20 years ago. And Joe's system, I mean, it's been around. It's time tested. And, as long as you follow what he's telling you to a T, and it's very simple, it's not complicated. Someone without any real estate experience, without any banking experience, without any short sale, without any experience can come in and pick up and take off with it. My personal advice would be delegate as much as possible. Keep your costs down, per lead. Mainly in the beginning, I would say make the phone calls, get over, understand the programs, the way to match the right seller with the right buyer and what works for them based on their credit situation, based on their goals, based on, their, as Joe calls it, their pain. What are they looking to achieve or accomplish out of this deal? You're basically a problem solver. You're just, putting people together and helping solve their problems as well as helping solve the seller's problems. So my advice would be, just jump in, get started, and let it go.